This is the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jess.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. All right.
Yo,
Man, I'm excited.
I'm excited. You kidding me? We got a great guest with us today.
Yes.
All right. Some people have said I got a loud mouth, and those people would be accurate.
Yes.
This guest, I would not say has a loud mouth like I do as my volume increases right there, but I would say he's an influential voice in sport martial arts today.
A strong voice, yes.
Yes, very much so. Let's bring on our guest, Mr. Jeromy Roque. What's happening, brother?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today?
What's up, man?
I'm great.
Great to see you, buddy.
Yeah, man.
Hey, let's do this. Before we get into it too far, let's give a shout out. I think it was either today or yesterday was Morgan Plowden's birthday. Happy birthday, Morgan Plowden.
Yes. Her birthday's today. Yep.
Hand claps to you.
Yes.
So yeah. You know what?
I have
Not
no
only do I
idea.
not know, I don't think the question you asked was good to do.
Oh, that's probably not a good question to ask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
I'm pretty sure when you're like under 30, it's like, yeah, okay.
See, the reason why I asked that question is honestly, the first thing that came to my mind was it's her birthday, and she's pretty young, and she's accomplished so much. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Being serious is how much she's accomplished and how she's, I mean, one of the top, if not the top, if when she's healthy, of course, female fighters, right? I mean, she's young. I mean, she's got to be, what? I don't know, 20, 24, right? Younger than that? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm really not sure.
See, I would say like 24 or 5. It's got to be 4 or 5. One of those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I was thinking about this because, you know, I knew it was your birthday either today or yesterday. I was starting to think about it. Same thing you were just saying, Jero. When you really kind of chalk it up and you're like, I think it's not a question. She's the best today. Like, there's not a question.
Yeah. Female fighter, yep.
And now I think like the jostle, there's a jostle between who's number 2. I will say that, right? Mm-hmm. And the gap between her and the next person, between whoever number 2 is, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
But there's more possible number 2s coming up. There's a lot more number 2s.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones moving up. I mean, just so many they're moving up into the adults, and I mean that's what's cool about our sport. We always got a new crop coming in. So if we do our job,
Jero, you said it. You were like, you know, she's done so much. Let's say she goes, and I heard hints that maybe she might not do so much anymore.
Mm-hmm,
but let's just say, sake of conversation, she did. Let's say she went another 6 years. You might say she'd be the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, straight up. I mean, who's out there right now that, I mean, that can touch her? I don't know. I mean, the honest truth is, you guys would probably know more than I, but it just doesn't seem like, it almost seems like, you know, it's funny when they compare, and there's always that talk about male and female division prize money, right? And so I start thinking, she's good enough to literally fight in the male division. I'm not saying she should or she would or whatever, but that's how skilled she is. And how many can we say are? I don't know, but she is literally, I mean, she's good enough. She's talented. She's hard enough. She's strong. So I don't know.
Yeah. and you got like, all right. So if you say, who's the greatest female fighter of all time?
Who
do you think?
You think?
I think there's probably like 3, maybe 4, and that would be stretching it. I think you got to say Nikki Carlson Lee.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then
Linda
you got to think about Linda.
Yep.
Chelsea.
Yep. And then Morgan. I think you got to think about Morgan. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Chelsea had a long stretch consistently when it was just her. Okay.
Yeah, right.
And that was it. And then Morgan started to creep up. Chelsea was still handling some business. Chelsea took a step away. Morgan reached another level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now no one else is there. And then sometimes, you know what? I didn't think this is going to be the top of the show. Here we are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard without that number 2. Somebody in that position, you know?
Well, that's why I think she wants to kind of test herself more in Europe, before she decides to hang it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that was kind of where Chelsea was when we talked to her. It was like, this is where I'm challenged right now. So she started doing more of that. So, yeah.
And I think it's because they're so deep. Like the skill level's pretty high, but it's not just that the skill level's high. I think it's just so deep. There's just so many other ones in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of it is just because, listen, I don't want to hurt any feelings. A lot of it is the style of fighting would benefit a lighter weight fighter, right? Because the contact isn't as high. So contact's not so high. What do you got to worry about? Right.
And it's funny. There's so much debate over that, right? There's so much debate over that topic. It's like we want to see stronger, harder hitting fighters like Cam Dawson, who is, the only heavyweight worth watching right now. But and then there's everyone else who's just, don't get me wrong, they're playing the sport, they're hitting, and they're fun to watch. They're quick, they're fast, but man, it's just not exciting when you know that technique can actually hurt somebody. I don't know.
Correct.
I'm not saying go hurt somebody because there's full contact for that. But when you know that they could, if they wanted to go that next level, that's what makes it fun to watch.
Just throw in proper technique. And I think that's the biggest thing. And I hope that through this, we talked about this when this pandemic started, we hope that people's technique gets better, because what else do you have to work on but your basics and your technique, And
but you know what though?
And we talked about how all these kicking classes have kind of come out of nowhere. Everyone's becoming a kicker now. So hopefully we see that, So
everyone's a world champion now. Wow. Take my world champion seminar. Everyone's a world champion. I might even throw a seminar saying I'm a world champion and watch my kicks and but hey, I might be fun to buy into it.
Maybe you should have a seminar. You should advertise it as, hey, come take this seminar. I was pretty good.
Hey, there you go.
I was pretty good. And you know what? That would be different than today.
That would.
World champion. Hey, this time a world champion.
Man.
Hey, come take my seminar.
You know what? Yeah. And I have no clue where this meeting's going, because Jeff hit me up earlier and said, "Hey, want to talk?" I say, by then let's work a little bit. Let's have some fun. How about today's world champions? Is there going to be a crowned world champion with all these?
No, they're all canceled? Done. There's going to be no such thing as a 24
So the world champion of the first 3 events? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't really dug into the whole NASCAR virtual tour and what's going on with that. They just announced today that Diamonds was not going to happen.
Yeah.
They haven't advertised anything about like a virtual tournament, and I would not think that they would give a virtual Diamond, but who knows?
and Diamonds is one of those that first I'm not happy when tournaments cancel, but Diamonds I feel like should, only because I'm just use me as an example. I'm gonna go there and win a diamond. I was okay, like Alex said, but I'm not a diamond ring fighter, and so the person who would win is a debate there, right? Well, they showed up, but are they that caliber? And so it's almost better that they, for the prestige of
and the location,
a diamond ring.
See, I feel funny about that. Here's why. Okay, here's a trivia question. A lot of people may not know. All right, the Bulls won 3. And then they won 3 more. They finished in 1998. Who won the title in 1999?
Oh, in 99? That was the Spurs.
Okay. But Jeff, I knew I liked you, man. I knew I liked you.
I told you.
Here's the thing. The reason why that's a trivia question is a lockout season. They only played 50 games, and it was super condensed because it was a lockout. People say it was the Jordan thing. Really, it was Kevin Garnett, but that's another story, right? So there was a lockout. Now, it was the Spurs versus the New York Knicks with Latrell Sprewell as the lead guy, the franchise guy for the Knicks. You don't really think anything of it as like, all right, maybe this could be an asterisk, because the Spurs won with Tim Duncan and David Robinson, right? You didn't
Right.
think like, oh, of course. Just
course,
like
yeah.
if the Diamonds were to happen and Raymond Daniels comes back and he wins it, you're going to think like, oh, man, you shouldn't have that. No, because you're Raymond freaking Daniels.
True.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. They
But
don't
let's
look
say,
at
let's say
yeah.
the New York Knicks won that title. And
People would
Latrell
be- yeah.
Sprewell is your finals MVP. People would lose their mind, right?
True.
But you don't hold it against it for the Spurs winning. Would you hold it against it if I don't know? Let's pick someone who's
Right.
not
Right.
likely.
Because what's going to happen? A top guy's going to go there, but maybe the people they beat on the way may not be as high level, right?
So, I mean,
Yeah, let's just say
that
someone-
debate is still true today in
Right.
recent NASCA grands
Correct.
that are NASCA world titles, but nobody showed up. So,
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a good
very
debate.
true.
It's a good debate, and I guess whoever showed they won, they're the champions at that time. I mean, you could probably say that for the last few years. They showed up, they won.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can even say the same thing about. I don't know if you can say that about Waco world titles because they've kind of, they have a good following of always those people coming. But some years maybe not the best from WKC go or WKU or whatever, or I don't even know what ISK, there's always going to be that same way. You could say about
Oh, you didn't hear about that? You didn't hear about that? I'm the
What do you mean?
ISK world champion for 2020.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't hear about that?
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's me. You didn't know? You didn't know? Just playing. Just
Man.
kidding, guys. It's
But
just a
yeah.
joke.
It's just a joke. But one of the biggest things with that is just, what's going to happen? Where do we go next? I know for the WKU, they decided to move theirs till next year. They just said, all right, we're going to keep Quebec City, but for 2021. So that's what
Also,
they
they
just
kept
decided.
everything as is. They just
As is
kicked
and
the
just
can
moved
down
it
the
to
road?
next year. Yep. And so
All right.
that's kind of the way they're doing that. And then they'll push back Wales to 2022. So so that's kind of what they're doing. Haven't heard the plans for WKC. I'm not sure if you know, Jero, or not. Yeah.
I don't. I should,
I
huh?
don't know either.
Yeah. So all of this stuff, man, it's crazy right now. Let's go ahead, since we're talking about tournaments, and you're kind of the man doing that right now, man. So tell us the whole process from when this happened and what the USA Sport Karate, Blitz, your whole group in Florida has kind of done.
Yeah.
So I guess going
Go ahead.
way back, Blitz started honestly with a group of guys. So there was Fame, right?
Right.
Fame, Mike Smith, Murray Land, those guys. They and Calvin Thomas, they decided to not have Fame anymore. And so I kind of got their blessing that, hey, you guys sure you're done? Because I don't want to come into the market. If you guys are there, those guys they paved the way for us, right? They're amazing
Correct.
people. And they said, yeah, we're done. I said, great, let's keep it going, And so then Blitz started with a group of us. We have some really cool promoters, some guys who are current, who were fighters back then, and now they're producing champions. And so, yeah.
Who's the group?
I'm sorry?
Who's on the group?
So we have Obeda bin Wally.
Beta Ben Wally. Yes.
Obeda. Currently, we have Obeda bin Wally. We have Keon Pinkney out of Tampa.
Right.
Yeah.
Keon's I remember Keon from US Open fighting. That's when he really made his kind of splash. He beat Preston that year. It was a big
Wow.
big,
Yeah.
I know. I
big,
remember
big
that.
win. The whole crowd was going crazy. Anyways, outside of Tampa, we have Juan Burgos. We have so many people. Juan Burgos.
You guys have a big league now.
Murphy Gonzalez, we have Eric Corsino, Mr. William Canizado, Florida Sports, who produces top world champions and weapons. That's just our Central Florida crew. I could literally keep
you
going.
guys have a big
We have so many people, so I don't want to not name somebody,
Right.
but we have a big group. Anyway, so we formed and that's where we're at now. There was a smaller group when we first started, but it was just saying, hey, we don't like the current tournament landscape. So at the end of the day, really it started, let's just have our own tournaments. It wasn't meant to be bigger tournaments. It was meant to be, I'm going to bring 20 players. You bring 20 competitors. You bring 20. If all of us bring 20, we got 100, 120. Maybe a few people will join in, and we'll just fight the way we want to do it. We'll compete the way we want to do it, and we'll just have fun. And then I guess it caught on, and people enjoy it and having fun. They're hanging out with us all across Florida, you know. So that's kind of where we're at now.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
How many tournaments do you have in a normal year for the Blitz Tour?
On the Blitz Tour. So let me rewind a little bit. So now we are, you might have seen us say USA Sport Karate a lot, right?
I did see that, yeah. You're
USA
involved.
Sport Karate, basically, there's Blitz, and there's another circuit called Kick USA with David Scalar, right? And essentially, you know, he's a top player here in Florida as well. So are we. And we said, man, we're just fighting each other. What is we're like, come support me, don't support them. We're just hating on each other. That's pointless. That doesn't get the sport where it needs to go.
Correct.
And so we decided to say, hey, our athletes are going to support. They're going to compete. You know, when I was younger, I was at a tournament every weekend. Kick, Fame, FBBA, NASCA. And then a repeater. Cycle back. Every weekend. I don't care what circuit you were a part of. Circus really didn't mean anything. And so we said, hey, let's just at least give them equal playing field.
Yeah.
So that way you're not training Saturday for 1-point body kicks and next Saturday for 2-point kicks and next Saturday for everything is 1 point. By the way, next Saturday you can't to the face. Oh my God, imagine a 7-year-old or 9-year-old, even an adult training week to week. So we decided.
And it's reasons like that. It's reasons like that why an instructor would say,
we're not doing that. Correct.
Because they don't want that student to have a negative experience. Sometimes it's not about not wanting to support someone or an organization or tournament. It's about trying to protect your people, not necessarily because the tournament's going to be bad, but because, you know, they're just not going to be able to be mature enough, sometimes mentally, to be able to understand and comprehend
the difference. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, the honest truth is that's where people have bad experiences is maybe they didn't even know, lack of information. They just went where they won because 2-point body kick, and now here it's not. And now they're thinking, you the judge, you're a terrible judge, Dingman. Not really. I didn't know the rules. I was not a good competitor, but I wasn't informed information.
Correct.
But it shouldn't be. You play basketball?
Yeah, you know.
A free throw is worth what?
1 point.
Always. I don't care where you go.
Doesn't matter where you go.
And so that's why we said, listen, let's just come together, USA Sport Karate, and even with down south with Manny Reyes and the FBBA group, and say, hey, let's just run the same rules. We all have a different flavor of our tournament. We all have a different excitement, but at least the rules are the same. We started that.
So how did you come to agree on the rules? That is the biggest contention thing right there. You guys are like, I hate those rules. I want to do that.
Anyone really? We're not really that far away.
I know that, but Jero, the one smallest thing, like whether it's 2-point body kicks or 1-point body kicks, someone will want to stab you over that.
Man, you know, it's just all about give and take, right? Like we have a rule. We have several rules in a rule book, and hey, we vote on everything. It's not about me. We vote. If it was up to me, there'd be no introductions. You know that. I get outvoted every time on that. But guess what? I still put on the table. Point is, we talk and we vote. And if I don't like it, if I choose to be a part of this group, I got to go with it.
Yep.
You know, and that's it's better the sport. It's all about the sport. And people forget about that.
Look at that humble pie.
They put their ego and they put their money in their pocket first. The old guard needs to get out the way and stop doing this. They're the problem. They're the problem. You don't work me up here.
So Jeromy, tell one of the things I always like that you guys do, and I know it's kind of more of a Florida thing because Chris talks about this all the time, but double elimination for fighting. So explain that, just how that works for you guys, you know, because I think the only time that other people hear double elimination in tournaments was at Super Grands, and that's a whole different system based on seeds and stuff.
Sure.
And you guys just do a pretty easy system. We
do it every tournament. Every single tournament that you come to is double elimination from white belts through black belts, from our 5-year-old little champs to our 40-plus fighters.
Correct.
And it's simple with the right team. It's not hard. It doesn't take any more time. We run the same amount of competitors. You know, we're not huge. On a good Saturday, anywhere from 250 to 350 competitors, somewhere around there. Depending if you're at the Miami 400, but we're getting done at the same time, everyone. And we have less rings. We have less rings. We don't need to run 20 rings. We're running 6, 8 rings, sessions. Anyway, so double elimination, man, it just gives fighters more opportunity. I mean, again, I'm going to come from a fighter's perspective. You know, when I was coming up in the 16, 17 division, when I was younger, I had Alex Lane in my division, had Cho 5, myself, Jesse Gallimore. Man, I had some team impressive guys. Anyone could win on any given
That's
Saturday.
a row of heavy hitters right there.
And that's just
and a local.
Yeah,
at a
exactly.
local. How terrible is it to go in there and just get, and maybe you didn't warm up and that's your fault, whatever. Maybe you fought the top guy who was on that day and you get beat in one round, or maybe you get spread. I think back then it was like a 5-point spread, which can happen in 3 kicks, right?
Yeah.
And then you go home. No,
especially if you fight Alex Lane.
Yeah. So, I mean, you go home. So we just wanted to give fighters more chance. So even if you're the worst fighter in the division or the best fighter, or even if there's only 2 fighters in the division, you can potentially have 3, 10 fights, just depending. And so, but again, it goes back to customer service, man. You ask these people, why are they doing it? Oh, it would take all day. Whatever. What does it matter? You have the whole ballroom all day. You rented it out all day. Use it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's always been my problem. Is just when I go to a tournament, I feel like I'm just cattle that they're herding through and trying to push through to go to the next. And that's something that I'm like, do they really want me to be here? Because it doesn't really seem like it. They're just trying to push me through to the next thing. So I get that. And I think that's something, see, like where I live, they still do 1st to 5 or 1st to 7 for black belts. And it's no time limit though. So you're even, so you're talking about either the shortest fight ever or the longest fight ever. And it's just no consistency. I'm like, guys, just give us 2 minutes.
What you're saying is it could be 3 to 4 and 2.5, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes could go by and it's still going.
Right. You still, someone has to hit 7. Yeah. So that's how they do it at local tournaments here. And so that was one of my things. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a whole different mindset though, you know, with fighting, because you can't get up by 5 and then be like, oh, I'll just wait it out, whatever. Because you have to actually get those too. Yeah. So someone, you know, so it's a lot different. Right. But what I'm saying is, let's, like you said, customer service. Like we're here, we all came to enjoy a karate tournament. You know what I mean? So let's do it. Now we don't want to be there all day, of course, but we also.
Well, let's be honest though. Wait a minute. We say that all the time. Yet we drove hours and hours and hours, or flew hours to be there. Right. Yet when we're there, we say we don't want to be there.
Correct.
We're there. Weird. So what is it that we don't? So think about it. What is it that we don't want?
We don't want to wait. We want to know when our division is going to be. We want to know that, hey, if I'm scheduled for 1 p.m., that I start at 1 p.m.
Yep. You know, it's going to be around that time.
Later, but hopefully not 3 hours later. Correct. That is the problem. So man,
that's the biggest issue.
That is the biggest issue. And double elimination, the best part about it is, and it happens just about every tournament, the kid who loses his first fight out the bat comes back and wins the division. Like, he just wins the division. And I love watching that, because he wouldn't have had that opportunity any other day. You know, and again, we're asking these competitors to spend money, a lot of money. You know, tournaments are not cheap. You know, the average tournament of ours, I mean, we lowered our price for this Saturday because of the craziness, right? But an average tournament, a competitor's going to spend about $100 with all the divisions and spectators. Yep. And that's if they don't have to travel. That's if they can wake up and go 10 minutes on the road. They got to travel. They got to get a hotel. So, man, give them their time of day. Don't give them their 20 seconds. Let them perform and show what they got.
And there's a lot you're teaching the kids, too. When they lose their first fight, they learn that overcoming failure and, you know, that just perseverance. And I mean, it's great. I mean, that was one of the things I always loved about the Super Grands, was you would see someone maybe lose their first one and then come back and win, or you see someone win like 8 fights in a row. It was crazy. And
I'm torn about that, man. I'm so torn, because if you're the guy and you just go right through everybody, boom, you wax them, and there's no doubt. Why I got to do this again? Everybody else just sucked. I whooped everybody.
If there was
I
no
have to
doubt,
fight
then it
again?
should be easy.
Yeah, then it should be easy. Yeah.
I know.
Right. But let's be honest.
here's
If you
the
do
other
that,
thing.
you only lose to one person. You end up losing that person twice. So that guy deserves to beat you.
I
So
get
it's
it.
not
I
like
get it.
it's not like
Here's
it was
the-
only this guy who
I
got
know.
double elimination. Everybody does. It's fair.
Listen, so really the part that makes me feel funny about it, and let me face first, I actually like the idea. I really like it. And I think all tournaments should do it. Here's the only thing that makes me feel funny. It's the same thing in NBL. I don't like the stopping of the clock at 30 seconds. Jeff and I have talked about this all the time. I detest that. But the reason why I detest it is because you're stopping the clock each time within 30 seconds with the mentality of, is this guy going to catch back up in points? So when there's a call that's close, guess who's getting it? The guy who they think is going to get back in there. Not all the time. It's not even on purpose, I don't think. I don't think it's ever on purpose.
No.
I get that. I think it's just a subconscious, like, oh, can he do it? That's all everybody's kind of thinking. Can he do it? Oh, the clock stopped. Oh, I don't know. That side kick looked close.
Well, it's the same thing with, when people say that, oh, this guy's biased towards this person. No, he knows this person. He may not know this person. In his mind, he should be looking in the middle and not even do it. But he's looking at this guy
my voice
first.
right now. I'm sorry. I sat in one of those meetings and Boyce said the same thing.
Yes. Funny, you knew where that was coming. Or know where that was going.
But I get what Alex says, because I'm going to give from my perspective. Let's say I step in front of a cam, and somehow, some way, I pull it out. And I beat him.
You want to take the hit, girl? Let's go and say, I'm done.
I got to beat him again?
Correct.
My God. I got
correct.
no. So I get it. But at the end of the day,
you gotta.
May the best fighter win. And I guess there's no different in that and the win by 2 rule, which I actually don't like. So funny, right? I like double. I don't like win by 2. So
does Blitz have a win by 2?
Nope. 1.
No, good. Yeah. I don't like that.
I don't like win by 2 at all. But I guess I should if I like double, right? So it's kind of
No,
I think
you shouldn't.
different.
It's two totally different things.
You still have to win, it's not it's not the same thing. It's the person that wins, they win. It's like we were saying with the rules in basketball, like they don't change. You know where it is. A win's a win. You don't have to win by a certain amount of points. So
hey Alex, what's your opinion on win by 2 in team fighting?
I think win by 2 all around is the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, I can't.
It's the stupidest thing.
Especially in team fight, I don't like it because there was 3 opportunities, 3 fights.
Right.
3 chances for this team or that team to win. And one-on-one, I'm not a fan of it, but I might get it. But
I don't.
3 versus 3 or 4 or whatever it is, no, not cool.
Yeah. That may be the only rule that I'm not a huge fan of in WKC because they do that, right? Don't they do about win by 2? I thought they did.
They don't.
Yeah, I thought they
do. They do.
They do.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah,
they do.
They do. Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
I never thought of
You're
WKC.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that may be the only one because I feel like they did a good combo of mixing the NBL rules and the NASCAR rules and kind of what works well.
See, the reason why you can't is because you won, right?
Right.
you won. It's over. You have a time limit. You were the one with the most points at the end of the time. You won. Now, if you want to say, okay, you got to do that again, all right, we'll do it again. But if you want to say, no, you won, but we just don't like it. We want you to win more. Like, nah, get the heck out of here.
Because imagine
I have 9 points. He has 8. I won. Go kick rocks.
Right. And if you guys had a win by 2 and double elimination, man. Now because that could go on and on. So you strung that out. Now you still got to go back and do it again. The only sport I could think of that's similar to that is tennis. And that's it. You have to actually have a 2-point spread or whatever.
I bet you can't name 3 tennis players that play today.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes. Djokovic, Nadal.
Stop it.
Let's see.
Whatever.
Williams sisters. Those are the easy ones.
Missing Andre Agassi?
Yeah. But he's not playing right now. Yeah, he's not playing right now. He's saying right now. Oh, ever? Yeah.
That's the only one I can name. I'm just messing with you. But double is important, man. And I think every league should do it, especially and especially at the underbelt levels. Black belts, I get it. You know, you should be on top of your level, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
especially at underbelts, man, these kids, you want them to learn so they come back and they get the best experience and just to improve. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Look at all the videos of these top players when they were white belts and yellow belts. They were just like normal kids.
Right.
And now they became champions because they stuck with it. You want to keep them going, keep them coming back to learn and get better. So,
So what's your thought process on that? Because I know you got your own school. You're the owner and operator of five tenants, right?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good looking school too.
Oh, thank you.
What town in Florida are you in?
We're in Orlando, Southeast Orlando. Yeah.
All right, good. That's just trying to get a plug. All right.
Come out.
So, all right. So you got a number of students. Let's say it's not your tournament. Let's say it's another tournament coming up. Let's say Battle Blend. All right, whatever. Okay. Student comes up to you, says, "Hey, I want to go to this tournament. Are you going to let anyone from your school go to any tournament?"
Nope.
Okay, tell me about that.
We don't allow you go to tournaments that I approve. You go to tournaments that we're going to be at, and that's it. And students are no longer with me who decide to do other things. And there's a reason behind it. I want to make sure that I can either me or my instructors or our team can support you,
right,
in your wins and your losses. Second, we go as a team. We go together as a team.
I get that.
No matter if the team is 2 players, we're going as a team.
Yeah, correct.
We're not just going one by one. I can't stand when I see school owners come back and say, "Yeah, Johnny just went to a tournament. Where'd he go? I don't know. He got first place." How did you not know? It's your student.
Yeah, right.
Now, there's different thought process behind it, but whatever. These are the rules. You choose to be in my school, play by my rules.
There you go. Yeah. Right.
And so,
but let's say this though. Let's say this on the other hand though. Let's say you got someone, one of your students. I mean, this guy's killing it, and he says, "Hey, I heard there's this tournament in New York. I want to go, but you're not going to go, and this guy's killing it. Are you going to let him go?"
So we have allowed that, yes, but they made sure it was okay by us.
Right.
They didn't just go get in a flight and show up somewhere.
Correct.
You know, and again, man, the last thing you want is your kid, your student coming back on a Monday with a broken ankle, right?
Yeah.
Where do you get that from?
Yeah.
What the heck happened?
happened?
Or they had a bad experience and you weren't there to assist them in creating a better experience or fighting for them or whatever the case may be. You want to be there for your team, and there's your students. So it goes, you know, and there's a level of respect. But again, it's about the culture of the school. There's some cultures in schools who they do what they want. And, hey, that's your culture. That's okay. But those are the same cultures where mom and dad are jumping on the mat. So it's the same broken culture. So
what about you, Jeff? How do you do it?
No, I mean, I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to tournament, you need to let me know so I can either, if it's something that I can make or it was something we were already – I give them a whole schedule of the events that I suggest and we go to and either going to a team or whatever. And then if it's like, hey, I really want to go to this, is this all right? Yes, but listen, I can't just go to a tournament because you're going, you know what I mean? Like I have other things, we have to do as well because you do get that whole thing. I mean, I've had people be like, well, my son goes to tournament every weekend, and his instructor never shows up. I'm like, well, have you talked to him about like it? Like, he has a life too, and as a martial artist, like we're at the school 6-7 days a week. So there's a little bit more.
Let me ask you a question. I know, Jeff, I know you have students who underbelts, right? Who let you are okay with them competing nationally. Why? What's the benefit versus staying local?
I don't anymore. Yeah. But, at the time, the reason was because we had like a program, like we had it in place to where it was local, regional, and then Super Grands was really the only national they really went to, as far as underbelts. And then fighting at that time, we had underbelts that were allowed to, remember in the NBL rule, like there wasn't a black belt division. It was just weight classes, right? So we had some that I was trying to get to a level to be able to compete at that. So that was really it. But yeah, no, I mean, I've learned from that as well. It's like, I'd rather them work their way up my only problem is different than you. Kind of like what I was saying before, I didn't have many local tournaments like that were of quality. So I kind of had to help them go to other ones to give them something. Like I was the only tournament in Virginia that was an NBL or NASCA quality type event. There wasn't anything. And so
you also went,
we would have to.
Jared, check this out. Jeff went 10 years without a karate school.
Yeah.
I know, right? Like that look, like he looked like he
Yeah,
about to kill you.
yeah,
Look, like how? What? Yeah.
Yeah, from 98 to 2008, I didn't have a karate school, so I was
didn't have
just
a
training
school.
on my own and competing on every circuit. So yeah.
All right, I want to jump in on this one because I agree with you both. Yet I would do it totally different. So because hearing you explain it, I get it. It makes sense. Yet I would not do it that way. Now I'll explain why. So, but I'll. But I also agree with you. That's the thing here.
Right.
So I agreed, and the way I've handled that, and I said, listen, here's the events as a school that we're all going to be at. If there's other events you want to go to, let me know. So I've already
that's what I say. Yep.
All right. So
we're in the same boat. So we do that same thing. And then there's some tournaments that pop up out of nowhere that we say, hey guys, there's a tournament coming in a couple of weeks. Who wants to go?
But I might not be at. I might only be at like 5 tournaments that whole year.
Mm-hmm.
But we got people who are going to go, or
right.
there's ones where I say you should really go, but I won't be there. Right.
Right.
Now, if a purple belt comes up to me and says, "Hey, I want to go to the U.S. Open," I'm gonna say, "Go ahead," and I'm gonna tell you why. I know they're gonna have bad customer service. I understand this. Right. Right. I understand this, okay? Because it's just a chaotic event. There's no way a purple belt flying across the country is going to have the same kind of personal care and touch that they would at a close tournament that they're used to or from their karate school. It's just no possible way. They're gonna have a bad customer service experience unless they win. Then everything is rainbows and unicorns, right?
But that could happen. There's so many divisions that, I mean.
That's another thing. Who am I to say you shouldn't go? Okay? I won't even name names. As my name's name, I'm going to go nuts on it. All right? There was a guy who said, there was a tournament, and I saw, and we had a bunch of black belts. They had never done a tournament. I couldn't understand this. They were black belts. All right? And I just started at the school, just started helping out at the school. And before I took it over, and they had never done a tournament outside of NK before. And I'm like, how is this possible? How is this possible? Right? So I said, well, you got to go to these tournaments. Just go. And it was, I'll tell you what it was. It was the AKAs because it was close, right? I said, you're all going. You're just going to go. And they said, well, says this double A, single A. What should we do? I said, what do you mean? You're doing double A. You're black belt. You're going to go. All right? You go. All right? This guy told me I was nuts. He goes, you kidding me? They're going to go there. They're going to get killed. I'm like, this is your fault. If that's the case, it's your fault. They're a black belt, and they have never done a tournament outside your intramural tournament. What did you think? You think you could hold the wool over their eyes their entire life?
Right.
Sorry. And you know what happened? They all won. All of them. All of them except for one who he had to fight, a classmate who did win.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So they all won, and look at that crow we had to eat.
Right.
However, that's one, all right, experience. The other one, you could say it's to be someone like me. I did every tournament. My dad, I was just kind of hanging out, like, oh, I'm going to a karate tournament. My dad, I would never forget this. I was blue belt, and woke up one Sunday morning, because in Minnesota they're on Sundays, and he said, hey, you want to go to a karate tournament today? Okay. Right? I'm like 10 or 11 years old. Like, what did I do? I love karate.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? No, of course I'm going to say yes. So we go, and I get waxed, right? I get waxed from a kid who lived on my block who went to a different karate school, right?
Oh, man.
It was like that. But we went to everything, and I got destroyed for about a year, right? I went to a lot. And then I took 3rd place. And I was like, yes! This is the greatest thing ever. And it just teaches us. Because what
Right.
would you do? Right? Jeff, you have a kid who goes to a tournament. I'm just saying the battle because the battle's going to come up, which I hope
Right.
it's a great tournament. Let's say they go to the battle, okay? And they get waxed, right? And you're not there. You're not gonna come down on them. You're gonna encourage them to get back on the horse.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. Well, I mean, I was that kid at the karate school that didn't compete, and then I would go. But again, I went to them for private lessons. I went to them to ask them, hey, this is what our plans are for these terms. This is what we're doing. Like the instructor knew what was going on. My instructor is the one that suggested me to go and learn from John Valera. Like those types of things. So it was a team like effort. Now when it got to the point where it was kind of like, hey, no, you don't need to do this or whatever. Like when that changed, when I'd already been doing that for 4 or 5 years, that was when I think it was just like, all right, well, it's time to kind of move on.
So here's a different perspective too. And Alex, you said, what do you want to keep the wool over their head?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with controlling the experience?
Right.
I'm not saying stay
bad.
in this little shell and you're a champion and you're never going to go out. But let's be honest. Have you seen sport karate tournaments? They're terrible.
No, so listen, just
so you go to these tournaments, you want to support your buddy, and they have a bad experience. Maybe the kid gets beat by a legit fighter that he was way better. Forget that. But the tournament looks catty, looks ridiculous. Man, at the end of the day, why not I just say, hey, man, here's a schedule. These tournaments I know, and now they happen to be our tournaments, but I know you're going to have a good experience at. You're going to have at least the same experience. Good or bad, you're going to have the same experience.
Same experience.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
And man, I get it. Other people say, oh, that's like staying local. That's like ATA. But you know what? Forget what they say because you're one person who thinks that, okay, I win a world title, which means what? Okay, great. Okay, let's go back. So, again, if we're really talking about changing these kids' lives through tournaments and all, we got to help cater them to make sure they stay in the arts long enough to be able to actually change their life.
Now that I agree with.
Correct.
Is part of controlling the experience is that problem. And again, it goes, and this is why I asked the question, why does a green belt, a yellow belt need to go to a national tournament?
Right.
There's a yellow belt across in Florida. In Florida, our yellow belts are better. All of our belts are better in Florida. I'll say that. All of our martial arts are better. But a yellow belt's a yellow belt.
Right.
If I go to Minnesota and my yellow belt loses, he can probably win or lose against a different yellow belt, same skill set in Miami or in Orlando or in Tampa. Now, black belt level, I get. There's certain markets, certain tournaments have a higher caliber. And yes, that's a different story. But underbelts, what's the difference?
All right, so I agree with what you're saying. I think the difference is, okay, so like here's an example. I also don't want to get into outing people on this one, but there's been a tournament, consistent tournament, where I've said like, hey, I'm gonna go. I think you would enjoy spectating. You should go. And I'm gonna but I'll be honest with them and I'll tell them why. And I said, listen, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? If you want to go to any other tournament, just let me know. All right? I was a student one time and said, hey, do you know of any tournaments in Australia? And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, do you know of any tournaments in Australia? I really want to go. I'm going to be there this summer. And I'm like, I mean, I'll see what I can do. All right? So that happens. Like, why wouldn't you try to help? Like, and the reason why is because if someone's wanting to do that, I mean, man, they're in. They're wanting to do stuff that much. They understand the money that they're dropping. They understand what they're doing, right? They've thought beyond this year.
So they don't, and then they're no longer your student.
Right. Well, no, I've had the same thing too. I've had the same thing with the ones that have done that and just not even converse with me about it are the ones that end up going to random open workouts without asking me about it or doing whatever, and then end up being gone. And you're like, All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's fine. You know,
We've been on this topic a lot longer than I thought we would.
Yeah, we can keep
Well,
going.
yeah.
We can move on.
we can.
But,
Yeah,
hey,
but I mean,
it's a good topic.
It's totally
it's a
my
good
fault.
topic, man. It's a good topic, and I wish we can say, hey, guys, students, go to any sport karate tournament.
Yeah, I know.
Man, you can't.
Yeah, no,
And not
no.
even locally we can. Man, there's
No.
some. I'm not gonna mention them, but there's.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right. So this is something I wanted to hit before.
Yeah, hit
and
it.
this is kind of more about you. And so how did you get involved with Velocity? All right. So you are from Orlando area.
Mhm.
Velocity traditionally is a Miami kind of area. So explain that whole dynamic.
Man, so Murphy will say it best, but so we were competing a lot, right, in Orlando, down south, and nationally. And I think one tournament, Murphy didn't have a 16, 17-year-old fighter. And he chose Alex Lane to be his third. Nonetheless, so that day we're fighting, and man, who was it? Richard. I think it was Richard and Leo, Richard's brother, Leo Valdivia's brother. And something happened, and you know I'm hot-headed, right? So I get in the ring, and I'm like all in their face, and I feel like Murphy just fell in love.
Wow. That's funny.
He's like, that's my, anyways. And so next tournament, then they still needed an older fighter. And so they put me on for just that tournament. I think it was at the battle that it was just here. So we're all in uniform, put this uniform on. I was like, whatever, I just want to fight somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then as an adult, I became on their team, and man, we've had a great relationship. But that's how it all started. We're fighting against each other. We're fighting against each other, about to have a brawl in the middle of a ring, and then there you go.
That's awesome.
This?
What year?
Yeah, when did all that happen?
Oh man, I want to say 02, 03.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, it sounds like it would have been around that time frame.
2003 is I want to say when it was. Yeah.
So
that's
your
awesome.
competition, let's talk about that a bit. So your competition, how did that really all start? What are some key points? Talk to me, man.
My competition, like my circuit, or what?
No, Jeromy Roque,
as a competitor.
competing.
As a competitor, yeah.
Oh, I mean, so my competition, I had a tough division, and honestly, man, I'll say locally, I won as a 16, 17-year fighter. It's funny. I told my story to my students. I was like, I hated fighting when I was younger. Hated it fighting when I was younger. But why? Because I got beat in every class. But really, not until I got black belt, then all of a sudden I got like some confidence. Then I beat a local guy, and my head
I'm actually kind of good at this thing.
I thought I was top of the world, and then really, I think it was as an adult is where I started to excel even further. You know, in the local circuit, and then competing in Puerto Rico, and on the national side, mainly I was a better team fighter than I was individual. I knew what to do in the team fighting aspect.
Correct.
So I think that's where I made an impact to Team Velocity, is on the team fighting side.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you guys had a lot of key wins and sent some guys home upset, like often.
Hey, because fighters, man, might have good skill, they might have good technique, and I needed to level the playing field, right? I knew I couldn't kick like you, can't punch like you, I can't go as fast as you, but I can get in your head. And if I can win that battle, now we're on the same playing field, you know?
Right.
And so, we might rough you up a little bit, hit you a little hard, hit you a little late, do things that maybe skirted the rules or broke the rules. But at the end of the day, what matters is getting a W. Nothing else matters. I mean, nothing else really matters. What matters is that you win. There you go. You know,
Dude, you sound like Obeda when you talk like that.
Man, we're on the same team. We grew up on the same circuit. But I mean, here's the thing.
But
I know
the way you fight, and like the way he fight, the way you just described it is like that's how you fight. Like you're gonna make people know that you were there.
Yeah.
But then you hang out. and you hang out, and it's like a whole opposite extreme. I'm gonna say this right now. Hookah lounges are freaking awesome. Right?
All right, here we go.
I've never done hookah a day in my life. All right. But anytime, I will go anytime, either you or a beta are out, I'm like, I might even bring it up. I'm like, hey, so we're going to hookah lounge. What are we doing? Because you guys are freaking cool to hang with all the time. But then you get in the ring and you are like, what happened? Right?
It's funny. I was at a few years back at Richard Osborne's tournament, the Ozark, right? And his tournament's coming up in a couple of weeks. A little plug there, and I think people should support him. He's a great guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm fighting Friday night, and so I have a problem where I don't know how not to fight the way I fight. I fight one way. Yeah. And I try, and man, it's like I probably need to see a therapist, huh? It's like I get so mad at you. Oh my God. Right. Anyways, so I'm fighting that way. And the next day I'm judging in the 8-9-year-old division. And these parents are like, is that the same guy that was doing that yesterday?
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, but it's just, you have to get in the mode, in the zone. You have to do what it takes to get in the zone. And some people will disagree. Some people will say, man, that's not the way, the level of sportsmanship. That's not the way it's played, blah, 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 blah. But going back to the sport needs more of this. The sport today, people are just so nice. Hi, Alex, let me touch your gloves. Let me touch your coach's glove. Let me bow to you let me find out where let's go. No, I'm there to beat you. I'm there to hit you and kick you. And it might hurt you and you'll live or whatever, but that's all that matters, and everyone's just so nice nowadays, and they forget that it's a sport and you're there to win. You're not there to have friends. You're not there to be, you have friends later, but you're there to win.
But
you're there
when you're competing, it's your focus is to win.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. No, not everybody is there to win. They're not. Let's just call it like it is.
Well, that's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem I have with competition is that.
Well, just wait. Not every sports team is competing to win a championship either. All right?
But they're trying to win the game.
Maybe not.
I mean, have you seen some people that
maybe not? Just wait a minute.
We're going to be the ones who spoil this and make sure they don't get in the playoffs.
Sure, they talk like that.
Well,
because if they didn't, no one would buy tickets. All right?
Well,
Team Straight Up used to have 2 teams, I remember. Back when I was, I was probably 20, so 06, 07.
Yeah.
I remember they had 2 teams, and Mr. Greenhall, he had one team that was his bruisers, that they weren't there to win. He knew they weren't there to win. They had no chance of winning, but they were going to hurt you, rough you up a little bit.
But they knew that too.
But, hey, they had a job, and so they were there to do a job. And maybe your job is winning. Maybe your job
sometimes they would win, though.
Oh, actually, they ended up winning. Why? Because they got into people's heads and they were roughing them up a little bit,
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're there to do a job. And I get not everyone is there, like you say, to win, but we are all there to compete and put our best effort forward.
Correct.
Well, let's just think about it now. We have created bonds and friendships and relationships, some lifelong. Mm-hmm. And if that is the outcome of some of this, it was a good outcome.
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So but I think what we would agree on is that really kind of should be the byproduct of what happens from this. Right. But for some people, it's not. For some people, this is their social engagement. Right. This is their environment. Who are we to tell them that what they love about this, where they find joy, is wrong? What? I know. No, I'm saying that. I can't even believe myself I'm saying this. Right? All right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the dad in me. I don't know.
Right. No, I get that. And I guess for me, it's like, I'm going to be honest, I'm one of those people that I was the most comfortable at tournaments because in the ring was where I could be like that other side that most of the time I'm kind of reserved and shy and stuff. But when I get in the ring to do my forms, like, or anything, it was like, I was a nutcase. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I could let that crazy person out.
That was the
you
coolest
know?
stuff, man.
And so it's like, but it wasn't just me that was doing that too. It was other people doing the same thing. So that's kind of where we all kind of had that bond. You know what I mean? Where it's like, hey, this is my thing. Hey, this is your thing too. That's cool. So, yeah.
It's funny. I was talking to a student earlier Monday, sorry, a couple of days ago. And I was telling him the same thing as you just said, Jeff, that when you're in the ring, nothing matters.
Right.
Whether you're a nerd, whether you
Correct.
have in my case, you know, I had a bad stutter growing up. I couldn't even speak. Oh my God. And now I just don't stop talking. So, but when you're
I had one also.
When you're in the ring, no one notices this.
Right. No,
none of
they
that
don't.
matters.
Correct.
And so that's, maybe we don't go out there to win, but man, we go out there to shine in other ways than people don't notice. And now
Correct.
they're noticing this way, you know,
Right.
and let's just be honest, a lot of our martial art, a lot of our students nowadays, they're maybe not the most athletic until they walk into your building, right? And now we create that. And so they were just some guy in a corner, some kid in a corner, maybe they were getting picked on. And now we gave them an outlet to shine in that ring. And awesome. I think so that is the other part of it. And then they become champions, you know, and go on. I mean, let's look at Raymond is an outgoing guy in the ring. He seems like a very quiet guy, though, whenever I speak to him, you know, but in the ring, my God.
He's got a level of cool. He's got a cool.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing with Jack is a very cool, reserved guy. Like
he is like an introvert.
He will talk to you, but he is an introvert, and he's comfortable in the ring. You know, it's the same thing. I mean, there's so many that are like that, and a lot in forms too. I mean, it's the same thing. You know, and then they get up there and they do their thing. You know, so I mean, it's pretty cool to see just people in their element. You know what I mean? And I think that's what's cool about our sport is that we're providing that.
Gerald, I
want to get on one. Yeah, you go, and then I'll
before we get off of like your competition career, because we kind of bounced around. Right?
Yeah, we're all over the place.
Yeah, which was good. I gotta tell you, I'll never forget my favorite fight of yours is still the first like big. There was times where I'm thinking like, oh wait, no, I did see him fight there. The first time I really remembered you fighting. And then I want to know what your favorites are. Was U.S. Open 04. You were fighting Ray Mendoza, and you were just, I think you were just newly an adult too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching you two fight, and you guys both tall, long legs, hard, explosive, coming at each other. And I was like, what is that? This is awesome.
So there's history, but go ahead.
Yeah, lots of history.
No, that's pretty much what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw like two giants kicking and hitting each other, and you got nobody backed up. Right? It was awesome.
So
I didn't know there was history.
We're in Orlando, based out of Orlando, right?
All right.
Where me, Beta, our guys are. And then there's Miami. Yeah. And the two worlds come like this.
And this was a Velocity versus WKF.
Yes. And then it goes back to that. Now that's another inner world battle, right?
I didn't even think of any of this. I didn't know this.
Man, it was crazy. So in Orlando, you know, you had the famed circuit, FBA circuit, right? And they just, it seemed no one liked each other. They thought they wouldn't get a fair shake, right? And so because I was on Team Velocity, man, these guys thought I was from Miami. So I was like, shoot, I'm going to go fight in Miami then. But the Miami guys don't like me because I'm from Orlando.
It's really like that?
Yeah, that's why I really want to ask about that, dude.
And then I'm on Velocity fighting an FBBA, which is a WKF run tournament, a circuit. So now it even goes worse. So point is, man, bad blood, all the entire time. And WKF, Velocity, we used to always go back and forth. And it was just, we're going to beat you in your hometown. We're going to go to your turf, and we're going to take over. And Ray Mendoza, I feel like he always got the best of me, though. Always. Always. He just was a little more explosive, a little more flexible. He hit a little harder. and I couldn't out hit him, and that was like, I was so upsetting.
Yeah, man, yeah, that's what's crazy. I remember hanging out with you guys after your tournament, and just hearing all about, just the rivalry, and then remembering that, I guess when Full Circle kind of got big, it was like that too, that whole Velocity Full Circle kind of local rivalry.
Yeah,
and just
didn't
how
really think of that.
there was, and then after you, there ended up being more people from Orlando area that ended up being on Velocity, so that kind of made it several different people. So it's it's just funny how, I mean, Florida is its own. I say Texas is like its own country. Florida is kind of the same way. Like, I mean, you could
really
stay in
is,
Florida
man.
and have a lot of competition.
Going to Miami is just, I love fighting there, and I love watching fights there. The energy in Miami, going to Miami tournaments, I don't know if it's just the maybe it's a little rougher to live there. I have no clue. I don't know. But the way they fight is beautiful. They hit. They don't fight to win a tournament. They almost fight like if they don't win, they can't eat or something. They're fighting for their life. And it's a thing of beauty if you appreciate that. The trash talking. And I love it, man. I love it. I don't know. I go back to it. That's the fun in the sport. You brought up Michael Jordan earlier. I just finished watching that Netflix series. And I was thinking, man, nowadays, if they do even anything like that, if they look at you funny, you're getting ejected. Like, what?
Yep.
So anyways, but
yes.
I think that part of the sport is fun. It's exciting. Now, I don't think, and I'm guilty of this, it should carry outside of the ring. Like, once we bow, we touch gloves, and you won or I won, that's over.
That's it.
Done.
Yeah.
Move on. And that's where it becomes bad.
Right.
See, here's what I'll say, though. I think Orlando, Miami, whatever, I think the guys in Florida have the ability to jabberjaw so much and then turn it off when you're out of the ring. And our guest last show, Alex Reyes, all right? Not last show, but the last guest was Alex Reyes. That guy is one of the masters at that. He does that all the time. And then can just turn it off and then hang out with you. Yeah. And I used to take things personal, right? Oh my gosh. And I did it in and from guys in the New England area. It's the worst. They just do it like they're breathing, right? Right. They just breathe and then you know what they say? Oh, which would mess with me even more. They would say, I'm just breaking your balls. I'm breaking your balls. Oh my gosh, that saying makes me want to actually break someone's whatever. But I can't. And they did it, and what happened? They would get under my skin, and I actually would get very angry. Like very angry. I remember the first time I actually started trash talking in the ring. I did it back when something like that was happening to me. And I remember feeling good. I felt good. I was like, because I never said a word, right? Ever in a ring or outside, I never said a word after that. And I remember feeling like I couldn't do this again. I could do this all the time. This would be fun, right? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You're right. You got to be able to just turn it off and be done with that afterwards.
The flip side too, the trash talking, man. The judges, they can be swayed.
Yes, they can be swayed big time.
Be swayed by what's coming out of your mouth. Bad or good, but most times they're, a corner is not very strong, and it's so fun, to get that. I mean, hey guys, what it takes to win, and I'm sorry, but if it takes you talking a little bit, and the judge starts liking you now, and
all right, who are some of the best trash talkers?
Trash talk. I mean, I definitely think old Alex, not new Alex. He's changed. Old Alex Reyes.
Old Alex, definitely. Yeah.
Old Alex Reyes.
He might be the GOAT. I don't know.
He's got to be. He is. As excited as he gets, it's fun to watch. It's more fun to make him that way, and that was more fun fighting against him to get him that way, and then the satisfaction of knowing you made him get that excited and you're chill.
yeah, that's great.
Oh, man.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I used to love doing that. I would do that all the time. I remember as a junior at his tournament doing that. I'm fighting one of his guys, and I just hit him. And I hit his fighters, and I blow a kiss at Alex. and Alex, you know, and then I do it
Oh, that's
again, and I
fantastic.
blow another kiss at him, and Alex goes, you, and he starts. Oh man, it was fun. It was fun, and
Yeah.
Wow.
man,
That's a
but
great move.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff? Who are some of the better trash
I
talkers?
mean, Alex was one. See, when I was coming up,
on
Jotty was actually I mean, he would do things in different ways, not just trash talk.
Yeah.
He put, you know, when he was on TDS or when he was on JPM, he put on an old elite uniform and then wrote through it and did things like that to get under Chris McBride's skin before he's about to fight him. Things like that would make like the rest of Team Elite mad at him, and then he would just do
It's
mental
actually
games.
Pretty funny.
Oh yeah, you know, and then say things and talk. You know, I mean, I remember when I was like 14 or 15, Jai would talk trash to me because he knows I would get riled up, and then tell the rest of the team and get them riled up, and just be. I'm like, what do I have to do? You know, like, but he was just getting under my skin, but I didn't know. You know, I was a young
Manny
kid.
Reyes
Yeah.
Jr.
Yeah,
Manny
that's
Reyes
another
Jr.
one that I was
one.
thinking. Manny Reyes, I would think. I think Jerry in some ways. It depends on how you take.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
on how you take it. I mean, there's so many, man. I mean, even Mike P, you know, in some ways has been a trash talker. You know, maybe now we don't think of him that way, but dude,
Yeah.
a lot of people call him the bad boy of sport karate for a long time. You know.
Yeah,
I remember Mike
mid-90s, he
P
was
in
pretty
California. I remember we're in California. We're a junior, and he's fighting Joe Greenhall, young Joe Greenhall. And man, something happened where Mr. G is actually complaining to the judges about how maybe hard or over excessive Mike P is hitting this guy. And Mike stops, looks at Joey. Am I hitting you too hard? Am I hitting you too hard? In the middle of the ring. I said, oh boy, what are you supposed to say to that as a
Wow.
fighter? What are you supposed to
Right.
say?
Well, yeah. Now you gotta say yes. Yeah. When you stop hitting me, so no.
Oh,
man, that's
dude,
good.
here's one more. Here's one from your area, Jero, and I'll never forget this. I was at U.S. Open '95, and then the 11-year-old division, and I'm fighting Eli. And Eli is.
Yes. Oh.
I don't even know curse words at this time, right? And he's cussing me in the 11-year-old division, cursing me out, and I'm like, what do I do? Like, what's going on? And I'll never forget that. Like, it's hilarious to me still. Like, but yeah, I mean, he would talk trash while he was fighting you.
Yeah. That's a good
Now, how
one.
about today? Today, right now, are there any?
I mean,
Oh man.
Cam will do it in the ring, but give him an opportunity to. Cam's licking his chops at anybody to call out. He really.
Right.
And you know what? I kind of agree with him a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But here's unfortunate though. It's the trash talking we get now is kind of what AP is kind of talking about. It's more complaining instead of trash talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and that's what's kind of bad. It's like they do it to complain about it, but really they're losing, so they're trying to make a break in the action and to get out of that person out of their rhythm. You know, it's not just complaining, it's part of their game plan too. So
We need more guys blowing kisses.
oh,
That's a
man.
good one.
That is.
I will say this one. I'll never forget this one. This, as I talked about, BJ Carnahan was my competitor of the week last week, and he was a really good friend of mine. I was just talking to the guy the other day, all right? And so we were at the World Series of Martial Arts. We beat Paul Mitchell, just NK, just a couple of guys, right? And we're out there, and this is now we go out there and we beat Paul Mitchell. We went through one team before them. Now we're fighting straight up, and this is the Raymond Daniels straight up years.
Right.
BJ had a thing where he's like, I'm anchoring. And I'm like, okay, you're the guy. He was the most senior guy of us. So we're like, we just allowed him to be the decision maker. We were a guy with no coach. So we were pretty close. And then the anchor round, Ray's kind of giving it to him. But in this particular fight, Ray's not only blitzing him and catching him, Ray's giving him an extra one. And he's done it like 3 times in a row. And he gives him like an extra 1 or 2. Nobody's saying we are so far behind in the score. All right. And there's probably 20 seconds left in this match. And there's no catching up. All right. And it's silent in the building. BJ, being BJ, just kind of says it just loud enough to where everybody around the ring is going to hear it. And he goes, "Why you keep hitting late, dude?" Out skipping a beat. Ray just goes, "Why you keep getting hit?" And I remember Greg and Hamid and Jamie and I, we all just grabbed our face. We went, "Oh." Well, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to say about that? What are you going to say?
Hey, at least, it wasn't live streamed, right?
Oh, man. Right.
I know one thing before we kind of get wrapping up, but I want to talk about, because you mentioned about, when you get to competing, I'm there to win, and you may not like the way I am and this and that, but then the next day I may be judging this division. You and I both have dealt with this and probably still deal with this, wanting to make a big impact on the sport as promoters and coaches, but still having that competitive drive. And where do you feel that I know now you've kind of stepped back and focused more on the promoting side. And I know for me, I did the same thing for a while too. But that's a tough thing, just explain that.
And I know some people several years back after your tournament, were telling me, "Hey man, this is not a good look."
That's right. I forgot you were the big part of that.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
We can talk about it. It's okay. I'm good. Yeah. You can't be doing that. You're this, you're that. Listen, it's a fine balance, but at the end of the day, man, you've got to be you.
Yep.
You have to be willing to be yourself. If not, then you're just fake, and you're selling a fake product, Be who you are and stand by who that person is, and let the chips lie where they go. That's it. Right. So I've gone back and forth. That's why I fought a couple years back. Actually, if I could get my leg back working, I might go out there and compete again just for some fun. Just because I miss hitting somebody.
Right.
It's just fun, but I have to get on that level because the guys out there are on another level right now, speed-wise.
Right.
But man, it is a fine balance, because you also you want to be you, but you don't want to. I'm gonna say it like this: I want to be me, but I don't want me at my tournament.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I get it.
It's tough, right? It's tough.
It is. It really is.
That.
Yeah. Well, and see, you get the whole thing too of if you are doing this, and you end up beating someone, they're going to be like, "Oh, it's because you're a promoter," or "It's because this or that." There's always everything. And maybe that happens more in forums, or maybe it only happens with me. I don't know. But, that's just kind of a thing. But at the same time, for me, it's like I want to be myself. I want to have fun. I want to do what makes me feel like alive, and when you're trying to hold that back for the love of the sport, that's great. But let's be honest, a lot of times everyone goes support you because they like you either as a competitor or they like you as a person. Hopefully it's both. It's kind of similar, but so you got to keep that name kind of out there, right? It does help.
You have to, number one, and the way I look at it, if they weren't going to support me anyways, if they didn't want to support me.
Correct.
My getting knocked out or knocking someone else out or whatever is not going to change the fact you're either going to support or you're not.
Or not.
And you might use that as an excuse why you don't want to support me. Right. You know what?
Whatever.
I'm gonna make my tournament so good that you have to. That's it.
Yep.
Because what you're producing just isn't good enough for our market.
Correct.
And that's it. And then there's always gonna be people who just find another reason why they don't like your product, whether it's you or this or that. And hey man, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's why there's enough room for everyone in the market. So
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. No, there's enough room for, I mean, we need small circuits, local circuits, regional circuits. We need
Yep.
these things. I just wish that we were closer on rules, so that way it was easy for our competitors to go from one to and grow with it. You know what I mean? I really think that's a big issue, because like we said, you know, it's like, all right, you guys, those points are different when you're this age, and then when you go over here, it's the points are, you know, that it's just confusing and it's hard to grow.
You know, and why can't we? Why can't the top guys come together? You know,
Correct.
Come together. You know, we that's why we created the whole USA Sport Karate brand and image, is to get some people together. We're starting in Florida. We're going to start going elsewhere, and just let's get a common rule set. And I'm not saying the rules we have now need to be the ones. I'm not that guy who says, no, my way is the only way. No
Correct.
way.
Nope.
That's not the truth.
Nope.
I mean, we're always changing and trying something new.
Yeah. I got a reason why it's not going to happen that way. And then I will just kind of explain it to you this way. If everybody okay, let me ask you this. So in Blitz, is a body kick worth 1 point or 2 points? Okay, 1 point, which we're going to talk about later, right? Possibly. I don't know if we'll have time, right?
No, we're getting close.
Okay, we won't talk about it. All right. So, but if everybody said, yo, Jero, we all decide kicks to the body are 2, what are you going to do?
I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't like it, but if
enough votes, right?
If you tell me first, if it's enough votes in my league, let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And if the sport is going that way as a whole, and we're the only ones saying, hey, dude's 2, then we're wrong, and we need to realize that.
Would you ever see yourself saying, well, I suppose I could do 2 points, but what's in it for me? Would you ever say that word? Would you ever say that sentence?
If I'm being honest, it's negotiating, right? Not in it for me personally, but you're giving me that rule. Let's see about this rule.
Now that is not bad, because that's a compromise.
Compromise. Yep.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Then no, it's not about me, man. And I'm not gonna be the face of Florida forever. Some young buck is gonna say, hey, you're Mr. Roque, you don't do it good enough anymore.
Right.
And then they're gonna beat me. And cool, and I'm gonna try not to let them win. And that's the way it's gonna go. And I'm gonna either have to keep trying to hold on or realize the new wave is coming.
Bring the wave with you.
Yeah.
And so
that's the thing, though. But those are the conversations that are happening, and those are the responses.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if I didn't hear it with my own ears, I wouldn't believe it.
So, hey, let's bring this up. NASCA 1 point body kicks.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. We are fine. We're going into it. We're going into it. Okay, I have been one of the strongest supporters of 2 point body kicks.
Yeah.
Why?
I think we should go to 1 point body kicks.
What? When did this change?
I know,
point, right?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for quite some time.
Wow, you haven't even told me this before, man. I'm shocked.
I know.
Who are you, Alex?
I know if I told you this, you'd be like, well, then that's going to be the whole show. So, listen, the reason why I was against it for so long was the culture of the way points were being called. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And all right, like this. If you get if someone blitzes, all right, and I defensive side kick at the same time, bang. There was the blitz all day. Everyone's giving the blitz because it's something fast that's moving. But I just hit you, right? Now, what do we hear all the time? Oh, you got 2 points for a chamber. Well, I just watched you get 3 points, right? Because you blitzed 3 times when you got hit at the same time. You're not up in arms about that now, are you? You're up in arms about a chamber that hit you. Yeah, you're not up in arms about getting stuffed in the chest, are you? So which one is more important to you? Yeah, that's right. I didn't think. You're a hypocrite. Whatever. So, but it started to change the way things are being officiated. Because I have said in the past, with all things being created equal, if everything was just created equal, yeah, I'd do 1 point body kicks and be fine with it. All right. And I think it's starting to go that way. So looking at it, looking over like all of like 2019, I really kind of looked at that. Man, I don't know, maybe it should go to 1 point. And I looked at fighters like, and I'm going to say this name of the fighter because we know him and he's a great kicker. And I watched fights with like Enrique Latona. And I'm like, dude, this dude's killing it. And then I'm watching a couple of 2 point body kicks and I'm like, ooh, I'm not sure that's fair anymore. Mm-hmm. And I watch and listen, the kid's great, right? I'm not taking anything away from him. It's nothing's his fault. I'm not saying he shouldn't have won anything. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I just looked at that and I'm going, ooh, maybe it should be 1 point, right? Because you want to look at Enrique Latona's best kicks. It's a body kick.
Right, but at the same time,
it's a body side kick.
We're not talking trash about that because he wins in Waco. Where
it's 1 point. Because I mentioned NASCA 1 point body kicks because I really was trying to see why do you think NASCA is not doing it? Everyone else is.
Everyone else is. Yeah,
everyone else is. Every world league, whether you hate, even the ones who don't like each other, are doing it. So what is your opinion before I give you mine?
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you. So you got to look at, when you say NASCA, it's not one guy, it's a group of them, even though there's a few of them that are the decision makers. So you got to look deeper, okay? So you look at who they are, and then you go, okay, where are you from? All right, so now you start looking at them, where they're from. Okay, seeing that. What are their local tournaments like? Mm-hmm. They're 2 point kicks to the body. They can't. Yeah. They would have to change the country. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't. Now, because here's why. Whatever NASCA does,
those other leagues under will follow.
The local tournaments in the country will change. It will just like that.
Right.
But it's the unknown. It's the, are we going to upset somebody? What are we going to do? And if it's the right thing to do, you just do it. Now, I'm not saying it's the right or the wrong thing to do. All right?
I think so. I think there's some of that.
It's time.
I think there's some of that, but there also is a little bit of an ego thing of being, well, we're NASCA, and I don't care if everyone else does it. This is our thing, and we're going to stand out from them because, believe me, I know because I was a part of the league that thought the same way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is our thing, and we're going to do this, and we don't care. We don't want to be just like NASCA, which, I understand that argument too. And so I'm sure that NASCA now says, well, we don't want to be just like Waco or just like this, or we'll just be another league of them. We want to stand out and be the league.
Yeah, hey, and that brings up another topic is if everyone's the same,
then
what if I don't like this product?
Right.
Where do I go from there?
Correct.
Okay, so you mean if the rules are the same. Mm-hmm. So then what would make a tournament different from the next?
Well, the experience and judging, the way the rules are enforced. So, that makes sense.
Right.
The customer service. Now, here's another thing, though. I kind of mentioned that we kind of talked about it really early on in the show. And we talked about it like, we drive, we fly, we do everything we can to get there. We get set up. And then as soon as we're there, we're like, why are we going to be here all day? That's what we wanted to do. Right. I don't think there's enough for people to do at the tournament. All right?
Right.
Think about it, man. They're there. Sell them some crap. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not apparel. Yeah, do that. Sell them that. Go ahead. Do that. Give them an experience. Let them have something for them to do. Something for them to spend more money on. Because obviously we're in commerce. We should do that. Or at least look into that. We should want to. That's where our minds should go. Okay?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So look into these things. Because outside of the person competing, there's nothing to do, right? That's why a kid does all these divisions. They don't even want to do them sometimes. But the parent is like, listen, we just flew across the country.
Yeah.
For you to do one freaking division?
Right.
Come on now. Let's give them something else.
The tournaments, NASCA tournaments, some of them are great are great in great cities. And so it makes you want to go. The tournament is just the bonus. You want to go travel. You might as well compete while you're there. That's why I think Gator Nationals, big in Daytona, was fun. You know, we have our Daytona coming up on September 18th and 19th. Same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's the experience afterwards. It's funny you mentioned that because back when we were following NBL, me, Ramon, and Obedo were like, man, I like these NBL tournaments, but ain't nothing to do. What city are we in? Have you ever heard of this city? They don't even have their own airport, you know? And that was, for us, coming from Orlando, where there's so much to do, we were bored out of our minds. What are you going to do? Go to some Days Inn and
there ain't no good hookah lounge.
What?
Yeah,
they have nothing. They don't even have a liquor store, you know? And so there's not much to do, but you're right. There needs to be something tied into it, you know?
Like something in the venue.
I think, well, and I don't know, I haven't been, but since they've been doing this, but it seemed like Battle of Atlanta was trying to do some extra things, you know, like have live shows and have, you know, like Alex doing, you know, like a live, kind of like live podcast and that type of thing for people to come and watch and things. And I think more events need to do that. And that could be something different. Now that only gets, you know, I've been to some tournaments that have a bouncy house for the young kids, you know, and I've been to some where they have different things for other people. I mean, I'm sure you can add something else into it. I mean, every area has some local sports legend that you can bring for autograph signing. That
costs a lot of money.
Well, yes,
that costs a lot of money.
But you know, I'm just saying they could also make a lot of money.
I'm going to stand up for the promoter on that one. That costs a lot of money. Now, how about this one though? All right. How about silent auctions for stuff like that? Are you kidding me? People love that stuff. They love that stuff.
Yeah,
man.
Silent auctions are always good. That was something that was real cool with Karate Helps Kick Diabetes. They would do that, and they would bring in the top forms competitors and make a VHS, and all the proceeds would go to Jeff Smith's diabetes organization, right? And one of the things they would do would be silent auctions and different things, and I mean it was cool. So
but how about at least for the big ones, right? At least for the national tournaments. Okay, so how about this one, Gerald? What do you think about this? What if you're at the tournament and you say, "Hey, Mr. Local Chiropractor, all right, how about you come in? Come in. I'll give you a booth for the day. It only costs you a couple $100. You're gonna get a couple thousand people coming through here. Okay, sounds good to me.
Well, I mean, I think people do that.
How about you? How about you? And you can line the thing up.
Right.
You see what I mean? You've already rented out the ballroom.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta does that. I think US Open, when they had multiple booths.
Right.
Now they just have one vendor. I'm not a fan of that. I like the multiple vendors and seeing what you're selling, and that's part of the experience too, is going and saying, hey, you have something different than you have. That's always fun. The different vendors definitely is exciting. But still, what's you know,
but why does it have to be martial arts vendors?
Why
can't? Yeah, and that's something I did one year. I had 21 vendors, and there was all kinds of random stuff. And then the next year I had less because I had less. But the first year I went to my tournament, Jeromy, I had different types of vendors and stuff. And, you know, like that is something that's mostly because I was in my local town. So I was
a local barbecue place.
Right. I mean, there's all kinds of things like that you can do. And people like, you know, then, you know, that helps. It doesn't have to just be martial arts. You know, I think that's a big mistake that we do, because there's just people, like you said, half the people that are there aren't there for karate. They're there just to support their child.
Yeah, so give them something to do.
They want something to do. So, but go ahead, Jeromy.
No, I would really, I mean, you got to see what people want for sure.
Yeah.
You got to see, maybe it needs to be a poll. What does the junior competitor want? Well, you have to ask. You have to ask, and man,
we're in the best way to ask now. It's so easy to ask now.
It's so easy now, but I mean, and see what the competitor actually wants. Maybe what we're saying doesn't matter to them, you know?
Correct.
We need to see what they think about. And man, rewinding a little bit, how about spotlighting some of our top guys and photo shoot with Cam, a backdrop. My 6-year-old took a picture with Cam because they probably know who Cam is, because the tournament highlighted Cam big time to get you to come. or Ray or Ross or Plowden or whoever's there, whoever's there. And now, hey, this is your obligation, by the way. Dingman, I'm bringing you to my tournament. Your obligation as an exchange, and it's good for you too, because hey, you're going to market yourself. It goes back to we spoke about this before we hit record. The fighters, we don't know who they are anymore. Who's these? Because they're not marketing themselves. They're just out there. Maybe they win, maybe they don't. They're not fun.
Well, how about this one? Along those lines, because what you just mentioned. What about this? Do you guys remember the old school Team Macho?
Yes, I do. But yeah,
Team Macho wasn't actually a competition team.
No,
it was a few people that Macho Martial Arts Products sponsored.
Yeah,
right.
And honestly, half of them were retired at the time too. So Larry it was more. Larry Lamb. Gabe was on his way out. He had retired.
Herb Perez didn't even do sport karate.
Right.
It was a Taekwondo. He was a Taekwondo gold medalist. Right? There's a bunch of guys, but you would see them from event to event sometimes who do that exact same thing. I think that's a great move. That's a great idea. Now, I also think we should have multiple sponsors for a person. I think a person should be able to go out there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Why not?
I'm Team XYZ. Well, I also got this team and or person, whatever, sponsor me. I'm going to put them.
We should look like NASCAR. We should look like NASCAR.
We should look like NASCAR.
Yeah.
By the way, Gerald, I know you probably hate that, but did you see there was an article in Black Belt magazine about Jeff Jeromy? You know which one I'm talking about.
About the one why tournaments aren't good? Is that the one you're talking about?
It was like what's wrong with karate tournaments today? Okay, it was with Chuck Norris, Fumio Demura, right? And who else am I missing?
It was someone named the last name was Parker, but I don't know who it was.
Ed Parker?
No, it just said Parker. It just said Parker.
Okay.
On the thing.
So anyway, no, Fumio Demura. Do you know who Fumio Demura is? Okay, so we mentioned this a couple of times. Fumio Demura.
He's the guy who kind of made. Yeah.
He's the reason why martial arts in America was always just called karate.
Okay.
Right. It was because of him. There's a few documentaries on him. Look it up. It's dope.
I need to learn my history. There you go.
So Mr. Miyagi is based off of him, like his actual person. Okay. So anyway, they had an article in Black Belt magazine, and it was so bad, I couldn't finish the article.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna. When I read the title, I'm like, I'm gonna love this article. And I don't even get halfway through, and I'm like,
they bring it up later.
This is trash, right? And they sounded so bad. They said, "Oh, the uniforms. You could see someone wearing one uniform, one tournament, and then he wears a different color uniform. Like, who freaking cares what color the uniform is, right?
Like that's the big issue.
Someone hits too hard. They should never have too hard a contact to the face. Wow. Maybe they shouldn't even hit." And I'm like, you sound like old and dead, right? So
it's people that haven't been to tournaments, so they're talking about tournaments and they haven't been to it.
No clue about what speed and agility and athleticism is today. No clue, right?
So real quick, let me ask you on that. What do you see as the future of how tournaments are going to be run with the current situation? I mean,
after the coronavirus is, or
I mean, what do you think? I mean, that's probably another topic for another show. But because we can jump into it, we've probably been another 2 hours on that.
I know. But no, I think that's something that all of us need to think about, And you just today posted something about that, about just
what was it?
Just the old
when you
way,
post stuff, I fall in love with it.
I've been nice lately. I've been too busy with summer camp, working crazy hours. But,
But you post things I think about. I think something, and you've already posted it.
The old way of hosting tournaments, has been old for a while. This is just we're now realizing it, and what I mean by that is, having competitors, expect them to show up at 8 a.m.
and not compete.
Start competing, or supposed to start competing at 9, but still be there competing by 5 p.m. Like, why?
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 Yeah.
Let them hang out. We understand we want to be there,
yeah.
want to see, but why do I have to be in my uniform waiting if my weapons division starts at 9 a.m.? Why am I fighting at even 3 p.m., 4 p.m.? It makes no sense. And this is still happening at tournaments that they're supposed to be national, and we're supposed to look up to them and praise them.
Yep.
And, I'm going to say this because a lot of people think, based on certain posts, that, man, Jeromy Roque doesn't like NASCA. That's not the case. Never has been the case. I just look at them as they're laying the
They're the
groundwork
standard
for everyone to follow, but they're not doing a good job of it.
Right.
Local tournaments are looking to them for guidance. I don't care who you are. We're all do it. Every local tournament looks to them and say, hey, it works for them. I got to do it. Why do you think the local tournaments are giving away $1,000? They don't have the money in their budget to do that. They don't need to do that. But they say, hey, NASCA's doing it. I got to do it. So point is, lay the groundwork. And so, going back is just, we can't be competing all day long. Why do we got to compete? Why can't it be a 3-hour time block? Why can't you be in and out, at least with your division? You want to hang on and watch the 12-year-olds compete later? Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. But no, I agree. And this has kind of forced that to happen, right? And hopefully it continues, which, it's got to. I mean, everything's changed now. So protocol and everything. So, man, this has been pretty fun, man. Really fun.
Hey, before we go,
yes,
we have a review.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So Jero, if you didn't know this, we read a review every week. Every week we on the show, we're going to read a review. Our goal is to get 100 views by the end of the year. Right. So, everybody, you love this show, hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Leave a review. Tell 20 other of your friends. When they say, who's this weird guy, Alex? Why does he keep yelling? It's okay. You can fend for me later. Here's what it says. All right. It says, a must listen for sport karate enthusiasts. This is from 417 Rich. I think it's, we just mentioned him earlier on the show. Richard Osborne, right?
Oh, all right.
I'm pretty sure. It just says 417 Rich. Okay. Between history lesson and storytelling, these two make an hour go by quick. That sometimes it's more than that. A great chemistry and balance of hosting a show. I always look forward to special guests and anticipate each week's podcast. A great asset to our sport and the continued growth broadcasted to everyone around the world about sport karate. The show is booming.
Nice. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah. So that's a fun one. All right. Before we finish up, let everyone know what's your next event. What's Sport Karate USA or Blitz next event that you guys?
So we have one this weekend here in Orlando at the Avanti Palms. We have one August 29th in Delray Beach. We have one on September 18th and 19th in Daytona. We have one October 23rd and 24th at the Y World of Sports. And we have about 6 virtual events coming up. So go to usasportkarate.myuventex.com. You can see all of our tournaments. We've got a tournament every weekend, I think, starting the August 1st through the 19th, whether face-to-face or virtual. I think we have one every weekend.
Every weekend. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I love this sport.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. It's given me a career. It's given me a career. So I have to, I love it. It's giving me a career. It's giving me something to follow. And I think it's the best sport out there. That's it.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, I think that's.
Hey, are there any like in the tournament this weekend? You have any like restrictions of any kind?
Yeah. So just, we need
go
to,
if you want to.
In Orange County, we need to in Florida, Orange County, Florida, we need to have 50 or less competitors in a ballroom. Sorry, people. 50 or less.
50 or less people.
50. You got to wear face coverings.
All the time.
The whole time. No, our competitors, as long as you're socially distant, 6 feet away, and if you're in a sporting environment, you don't have to. So our competitors, while they're performing, can take it off. And
like when they do their forms.
Yeah,
Right.
they take it off. And then, so the way we're doing it, of keeping it 50 or less, we've got 4 different ballrooms, 1 ring in each ballroom.
Ooh.
And we have sessions, so only that age group and that color belt sex. So let's say 6 of them beginner, they're in our yellow room, which is our beginner room.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there, compete. Once that division, which has, and there's several divisions out there, hits more than 10 competitors, we split, because more than 10 equal double the parents, and we have our staff. So we split it. So keep it less than 50 across all divisions. So that last tournament, A9 intermediate had like 9 girls and 10 boys. So we split different ballrooms, different times. That's it. The whole day you split. And what we do is then we're emptying the ballroom, right? The whole ballroom gets emptied after their session. We disinfect, clean up. We have spray and everything. And then 30 minutes later, bring the next session in. So that way it's the next group. So yeah, the biggest thing is the 50 or less. The 50, we cannot be 1 person over. I think it's phase 2 guidelines in Florida. 50 or less people congregating together.
Awesome.
This might be a great way to just do tournaments all the time. Wow.
I'll tell you what, it was my best experience in hosting, and the feedback we got was amazing, because here's the common issue that our tournaments see and our tournaments see. If you're in a ballroom, you can't see. Because the first row, unless you're standing, right?
Correct.
The first row, you have good seats, but the first row never leaves because they put their bags there. Correct. But you have to leave. I don't care if you're also competing in that session because it's creative weapons or whatever. You have to go. Yeah. And then the next group comes in. So it was able to clear the floor, and we had less arbitrations. No arbitrations. Why? Because people can see. There's no issues. It was more spotlighting each competitor. It was a whole lot more fun. The only bad thing is the excitement. Of course, there's not 50 people on the ring, but there shouldn't be that many people on the ring.
No. Right. Correct. And I mean, I guess for me, the only thing I always think of is like, that's more money to spend on ballrooms and stuff. But I'm sure right now if you look at it and you get 50 per each one over that day, you could have a pretty big tournament, especially if they
so our tournament wasn't too big, this last one, but what we could have, it's all about the way it's ran and the sessions. And again, we have to stop the mindset of, let's be out by 3 o'clock. No, who says that?
Right.
Maybe that session is done.
Right.
But why can't there be a session starting at 4 o'clock and they know, hey, show up at 4? Now, we don't actually have a 4 o'clock session, but if I was running a 1,000-person tournament, I might need that. And that's okay. What if you knew, hey, I can sleep all day. I don't have to be there until 3 o'clock to check in. Correct. 3:45 to warm up, 4 o'clock to fight, and I'm fighting at that time. Right. Why not break up the whole day?
It's like, there's hundreds of soccer games going on in this field. My game's at 4, though, And
exactly.
It's the same type thing.
You hit it right there. One field, yet they can do it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just,
you know why else that's good though, Jero? I'll tell you what. I'm 39, man. Getting warmed up. That's a relative term. That's a relative term, getting warmed up now.
Yeah.
And you know what they always do? They always make the 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus. They make them go first. What kind of sense does that make?
Hey, I'm just saying that
they're trying to make you all judge afterwards. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Make you all
That's true. Yep.
Then they're gonna make me angry, and I'm not gonna care. No, just kidding.
Judging all day,
joke.
then competing later. Oh my God, that's one of the toughest things, especially if you're running the event or coordinating or whatever.
And why not that too? If you're having sessions, which we're talking about, why are the same judges there from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m.? Why can't it just be a whole new crop of judges?
Correct.
Hey guys, guess what? If as a judge, I'm guilty of overworking my judge. I'm sorry, Ramon de la Cruz, if you listen to this, I apologize. But when you're good, you get more competitors. It's just true.
Correct. Tag him now.
But why can't you? I mean, you're gonna be more motivated if you say, hey man, you've got just this age group, or maybe these 2 age groups. you're going to work better. You're going to work more efficiently, and you're going to be more in better spirits. The problem is then one session may get bad. We're the worst judges, but hopefully in a perfect world, all the judges are on the same playing field, right?
Right. Well, at least if you have a strong center in all of those groups, they can kind of manage it, so.
Yeah. I mean, guys, I mean, for anyone listening to this, I mean, I'm always open to sharing ideas and finding ways to do better. And if our way doesn't work and you have a better way, shoot, share it with me. I'm down. Because again, it's about the growth of the sport, betterment of the sport.
That's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. Yeah, that's why Jeromy and I kind of started working together and talking more and more, and we always do now, even about our karate schools and everything. So it's just about the betterment of the sport, man, how we can grow. So thanks,
dude,
man.
This was
fun.
One awesome show.
Yes.
Dude, you got to come back. Tell me you're going to come back for another show.
Let me know, man. I'm down. Yes. I'm down. Let me know.
We're like trying to jam pack everything together. You just got to come back.
Yeah, we got a segment, and as karate instructors, we have ADH, triple D.
We do.
We can't stay focused. This is why before we hang out, before we get out of here, I was looking at my watch yesterday, and in my karate school, I walked like 8 miles, right? In my karate school. My wife was like, "Are you crazy? I can't sit still." I'm like,
yeah.
Because our minds are racing and racing and racing all the time. And the show, same thing, different topics. But hey, we got to do is stick to bullet points. I remember when you had that show with Alex, and it was like, all right, this is the topic. It was a hot seat or something. This is the topic. And 1 minute, this is the topic, or whatever the case may be. Anyways.
Right. That's
I'm
true.
down, guys. Yeah, I'll be glad to come back on.
Awesome. Man. Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys. Be safe.
Yep.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thanks, Jeromy.
See you, man.